How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Sick Podcast with your host, That Leafs Fan. I hope you guys are doing well. We have quite a few things to talk about. The Leafs 1 week breaks are over. We're going to get into that. But before, producer, roll the tape.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With That Leafs Fan.
They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
The sickest Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are doing well. We have, honestly, I want to say you're becoming a regular here. We got Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I wouldn't count your eggs before they hatch because we play Boston on Saturday, and then we got another 4-day break, and then we got Ottawa on Thursday.
I don't know what's going on with their schedule. It's completely all over the place. Honestly, this is the first episode in about 10 days, if I recall correctly, 9 or 10 days. There was just no games to talk about, and I didn't really feel like talking about the Hawks and Penguins game because, quite frankly, there wasn't much good to say.
I don't blame you. And I'm just looking ahead right now. It looks like it's gonna pick up. In December, we only have we got that 4-day break, but after that, it's like 1-1 back-to-back, 1-1, 2-1-1, 3-1 back-to-back. So it should be better.
So that who knows, we might be pumping out episodes every single day. But I want to honestly, I'm not going to go dive too deep into the Hawks and Penguins game. I think that was just, I don't know if you want to call it like readjusting to schedule or whatever. The Leafs didn't really show up prepared to either of those. And to be fair, I think we were riding it was a 4-game win streak and a 5-game point streak, if you want to call it. But we finally hit a little bit of a dead zone, lost to the Hawks Leafs game should have been 2 points like all day.
Listen, honestly, I think it should have been 2 points, but looking back on it, coming back from Sweden with a 4-day break and then playing at 2 p.m., I'll take the fact that we took it to overtime. But I mean, you let Jason Dickinson score a hat trick on you. Next time, maybe don't do that.
You know how many amount of people were telling me who's Jason Dickinson, and I was like, exactly.
Yeah,
Like it's such a classic. But even the way the overtime goal went in, I was like, oh, okay, we were never winning.
Dude, that was so annoying how that went in. I was just like, oh, that's how the game ends. Cool.
I didn't watch any highlights of that, so I don't even like it just popped up and then it just ended up in the net, and I was like, yep. After Nylander hit crossbar post with one shot, I was like, yeah, no, we're not winning this
and
game.
That's how his streak ends, by the way.
Yeah.
By on a breakaway, he hits all 3 posts.
Yeah. And now I hope he doesn't. I'm obviously going to make a joke about this, but he's on a 3-game no-point streak.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not worried about that. But Penguins game on Saturday, back-to-back, first back-to-back of the season, if I recall, right? It was our first one.
I think I'll double check with you, but I'm pretty sure that sounds about it. No, Calgary, Vancouver. We won both of those.
Right. And a bit of a sleeper. I mean, they didn't play great. They didn't play awful, but I won't, like, again, it's a back-to-back after like a 2-week spread of having like a week break between games. So, I mean,
like you'll begrudgingly give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? It's like you're gonna lose games. This is the part of being a fan. Obviously, you wish every single fan is like, okay, let's go 82-0. Not gonna happen. You're gonna lose games, and I'd much rather they lose a game like that where at least it was after like we picked up quite a few wins in a row and then a point, which again should have been 2, but is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll take it. It happens. And I thought yesterday was a hilarious situation. So, and I'm sure many Leaf fans I feel like might. I mean, if you agreed with me, I'm pretty sure there was many others too. The moment now we're talking about the game that happened yesterday against the Panthers. The moment that Evan Rodriguez scored the shootout goal, I closed my TV. I was like, all right, we lost, got the point. Damn, but is what it is. Hard fought game. I go and look at my phone at I think it was 12:30 in the morning, and I was just like checking. I think I went to go and like watch the end of the game of the Canucks and the Canucks and the Ducks, and then it says Leafs win 2-1 in a shootout. I'm like, it's the score app. They probably like messed that up because it's obviously like the Leafs lost that game. And then I click it, and I was like, hold on a second. There's actually like full information of the shootout, and Evan Rodriguez didn't score, and Noah Gregor did, which we'll get to. And the Leafs won, and I was like, well, that's a pleasant surprise. Now I can sleep a little better. We got the win. I wasn't
That's
expecting
wild.
it at all.
That was a good chunk of time where you genuinely thought we lost. That was wild.
Dude,
For me, it was like 5 minutes. I thought we lost.
no, for me it was about like 3 hours. Like I was
Yeah.
I was like long past like, okay, no, we lost to the Florida Panthers. And then I
Yeah.
went to go and check even the first thing I saw was I go and check the standings and it says the Leafs have 11 wins. I'm like, I know for a fact before tonight we had 10. So
Mhm.
I must be missing something here. Like, did I miss? That's one thing that like I look on like religiously is the record, and I'm like, I could have sworn we never had 11 wins before tonight, and we didn't win tonight. So what am I missing here? And
Yeah.
yeah, they just got the win. Overall, honestly, look, the first period was an atrocity. Everyone knows that.
I mean,
I'm gonna
everyone's used to it by now.
right, but let's be real. In my opinion, Joseph Wall kept that a hockey game.
38 saves, 5 in the shootout.
What a player. Speaking
Yeah.
about what a player, I love Noah Gregor.
Yeah.
He's like
Noah Gregor
you
fan
said it.
club.
I'm gonna give you the credit because you told this to me before the podcast. He is an Ilya Mikheyev who can score, which is why I think he's kind of like a mini Zach Hyman. He's
Yeah.
like a Zach Hyman like before he played with Matthews and Marner on the top line.
It's just nice to watch a player in blue and white have speed and actually have the ability to do something with that speed. That's not just make a button hook because we saw that with Kasperi Kapanen and Ilya
Oh,
Mikheyev. They would
yeah.
burst into the zone and then they'd realize, I'm in over my head, and then they would just turn and wait for support. But
Yeah.
Gregor will take it to the net. He'll do whatever he can to try and get the puck on net, and I love him for that.
What I love about him is that he's just a player who he first of all, I love having players who have to fight for their spot because I
Yep.
find that's what some people crack under pressure, others like flourish, and he seems to have flourished onto this team. Like no one was like, "Oh, Noah Gregor this year, okay, that's like a plug-in." And then like throughout the season, I'm like, "Okay, no, like this guy's he's got like bullets for skates."
Yeah.
And like he doesn't have an incredible shot, but I mean like he can shoot and like he's just like an overall good, like great depth player. And he plays well under pressure, which to me is what I look at because pressure comes in the playoffs. And I would love to have a guy like him, like a whole team filled of Noah Gregors. I mean, probably be
In
better
my
off in the way
mind,
we are.
he's the perfect bottom six player.
Yeah,
Like I was
100%.
watching both teams' fourth lines last night, and they were actually the both best line for each team, which was kind of funny. Florida's fourth line has Ryan Lomberg, Kevin Stenlund, and
Is it Cousins? No.
someone else that I'm forgetting. It doesn't matter.
Luosterainen?
Maybe, who knows?
Possible.
Our fourth line is Gregor Camp Reeves. If
Yeah.
I had to make my ideal fourth line, it would be Gregor, Stenlund, and Lomberg because Ryan Lomberg is Ryan Reeves who can actually do stuff with the puck. And
Well, he tries.
Kevin Stenlund is a competitive center who maybe isn't the best defensively in comparison to Camp, but Camp hasn't been good defensively this year either, so he's really not doing much. So I'd rather have a fourth line that can score and is tough and competes and is fast than what we have currently.
Well, Stenlund has 6 goals on the year, which is
Exactly.
like
Out of
that's the fourth
nowhere. And I feel like he always scores against the Leafs. It feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always scores against the Leafs. Jason Dickinson scored his like season worth of goals in like one game against us, but like overall, honestly, again, the first period was like really disappointing.
If
Marner
you
going
watched
out.
if you
Sorry.
watched my post game, for whoever watched my post game, and you noticed that I was mad, most of the anger came from that first period because I've seen that first period about 10 times this season, and I'm really starting to get sick of it. People don't understand that when you're a fan, you literally wake up on the day that they play, and all you look forward to is just watching your team play.
Yep.
And it's so demoralizing when you sit there and puck drops and you're just watching your team sleepwalk while they get outshot 15-6 by the Florida Panthers. And you
Yeah.
know they can do so much better, and you know that they are going to do so much better. You just have to wait until the third period. Because
Yeah.
if you had to guess which period the Leafs didn't get outshot in this
It was the
game,
third.
it was the third. And it wasn't by much. It was 15-7 in the first, 14-13 in the second, 11-6 for the Leafs in the third, and then 4-1 for Florida in overtime.
I like the fact that what I'm gonna I'm gonna try to stay positive because I've been I feel like I've been relatively harsh on the team, and I
I'm
feel like
pretty sure every episode we've recorded together, you have been definitely way more mad than I have.
but and I feel like I don't regret any of that. Like I
No,
stand
of course. Just the
100%
way
by
you were
what I
feeling in the
said.
moment and the way the team was playing validated the way you were feeling.
Well, like it's just like the Leafs. Like I feel like they can play bad for the first 3 games of the season, and like I have full right to go off on them because to me, it's not just the first 3 games; it's the last 20 years. So like that's just
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
is. But I'm gonna like stick on more of a positive note for like the overall team. The way I look at the first period, we got away with it only down by one, and that was thanks to our goaltender, the goaltender Joseph Wall, which I like in a positive sense because I feel like our goaltending has been struggling this year. So it was like and not all the time, but like generally it's been struggling. So to see
Yeah.
him put up a performance like that where like he covered up what should have honestly been like 3-0 Florida and the game being
Oh,
done. He kept us in it, gave us a
see,
chance.
here's the
Go ahead.
underrated thing about the Leafs is when they start conceding less, right? The past few games, they've started to concede less, which is great. You know, maybe the defense is starting to pick up the slack, or maybe the goaltending is getting better. You can't tell, really. I mean, you notice the defensive errors are still there, but also the goaltending is bailing them out. So maybe the goaltending got better and the defense is still the same. Genuinely, who
I
knows?
think it's that one.
It's probably that one because the defense still looks a little shaky to me, but
It's
I do
look,
recognize that they look a bit tighter.
it's taking so the defense is taking steps in the right direction. They need to start like sprinting and taking a lot more steps,
Well,
but they are taking steps
it's
at the
tough
very
now,
least.
right? Because like part of the reason why I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the game last night is majority of the game they were playing with 5 defensemen. Jared
That
Daniels going
too.
to miss some time now, so now
Yeah.
you've got like I don't know, Legason comes back in, and now Legason Benoit is your bottom pair. Not sure if that's ideal. Benoit looked okay in overtime. Simon Benoit played in overtime. Riley's still looking like a Norris candidate if they cared about defensive play. The defense is taking steps, but it's hard to take steps when there's a bunch of rotation constantly throughout the season.
It's the thing is, look, this is like I feel like you don't even have to watch the game. You can look at roster construction. Everyone and their mom knows that Toronto's strength is offense, Toronto's weakness is defense. It's been that way for 7 years now. No matter who we plug in to whoever, that's
Well,
the way it is.
actually, I would interject here because that was the way it was, but for a brief period, I think it was the bubble season and then the season after.
Season
If you
after.
looked at raw metrics, the Leafs were just better defensively than offensively. Like their numbers were better defensively than offensively, and it's just the way the
Yes,
team was constructed.
yes, but that was also the offensive play. Like when I say
It's
defense,
easy to be good defensively when your team has the puck all the time.
well, for one,
Yeah.
absolutely. But honestly, the way like what I'm trying to say is that metrics, no metrics, or whatever it is, the team's strength is up front, the team's weakness is at the back, and it's been like that. Like when I say weakness, it's like compare us to like a solid defensive team, like say
Awesome.
like Vegas or
Yeah.
Boston or like teams like that, like they have a real defense, not just like, oh, they're playing well and the stats look good. Like, no, they're actually good.
Mhm.
But the Leafs have that up front. And like I feel again, I'm gonna try to stick like very like more on the positive side of things. The reason our defense is relatively weak is because our offense is so lethal and it's normal. Like I don't think there's many I don't even think I can count on one hand teams that are the same, if not better, offensively when we're at our best. Like
Oh,
Toronto's
when we're at our
offense,
best, yeah,
it's
there's
lights
not
out.
many.
But
When you've got
that's
all of Tavares, Marner, Matthews, and Nylander rolling,
it's
you're
done.
probably the best forward group in the league.
But and that's the thing, right? And it's like that's the construction that the Leafs have. Do I agree with it all the time? Does Leafs Nation agree with it all the time? No, obviously not. But that's just the way it is right now. And I've come to terms with that until at the very least they ever decide to split up the core, that's the way it's gonna be. You have so much money locked up front, you have like there's no matter what $1-2 million defenseman you try plugging in, that will always be the weakness. Like if you really want to have a shift, you need to really trade a big piece to get a big piece. It's not about finding a needle in a haystack. Like sure, they can be good, but it's like you go and look at a team like Tampa Bay, the Leafs need to make a huge trade if we're to have players like Hedman, Sergachev, like like I can go
Mhm.
down the list
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
have like four great defensive players. The Leafs have Riley, who's like an average top two, like an average top pair defenseman. He's not like the best. He's definitely not the
He's like a
worst.
low tier one, like one of the best
Yeah.
twos.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like again, you said it yourself, like we don't have that number one. And like quite frankly, everyone's like, we should trade for Tanev and we should trade for these guys. Like, yeah, I agree. I don't think that that's going to change a whole lot because again, the construction overall remains the same. And again, if that's how they're going to proceed, there's the way I look at it is like there's no point of breaking my head trying to like do the dubis of like, okay, if I have to do this and that and this and that and
Mhm.
that, but it's like at the end of the day, that's like the main component is there. So like no matter how many pieces you change around the main component, at the end of the day, the driving factor still relies on the top four, and that's just the way it is till it isn't.
Yeah.
And so I
Well,
don't
I'll
that's
tell
why
you,
I never.
the Leafs gave 4.1 million to a guy who might not even play until February. So, I mean, roster construction wasn't the best defensively this year. That's on the GM, and that's on the GM to fix it, which I trust that he
Yeah,
can do because he built a pretty good decor in Calgary. So we'll see what he can do, but
yeah, he did.
the defense needs to change.
I But like coming back to yesterday's game, I thought overall scrapping that first period, like that was it was garbage. We know it. Like I can
Sleepwalking
sit
is what I
here and
said.
like but like we can like sit here and like go into it for as long as we live. There's the way I look at it is like, okay, it happened, it is what it is. Now I'm gonna try to do what I've been telling the Leafs to do. It's like play in the now. It
Mhm.
happened, it's done, get over it. The game is still going. And that to me, what I was happy about at least is that I felt that's what happened. I thought it was a pretty even second period, like, but we were starting to ramp it up. And Noah Gregor making a play out of nothing, getting it done. We missed a few, like, but the power again. I won't even get into that because the power plays went both ways. We had a 4 minute penalty, they had a 4 minute penalty, penalties all over the place, and it was a physical game. It was a tight. It felt like a playoff game between
Yeah,
the two.
it was incredibly gutsy because Marner takes the puck to the chin. He needs stitches. I didn't expect him to come back, and
Comes
here he
back
is
like
in the cage.
Gage.
He comes back. He's probably not feeling the best, but you know what? He's gonna stick it out.
He
And
played well though.
yeah,
I thought
credit
like
to
he
him. That
played
takes a
pretty
lot of
well.
guts to do that.
And
I
like
don't think he
I
played the best offensively, but I think he played with a ton of heart, and I really
and that's
appreciate
all I
that.
care about. That's the
He
only
knocked
because
over
goals are gonna
Juuso Mikkola or Mikko Mikkola. I don't know what his name is, but he knocked over a big defenseman, and I'll take that.
Did you? I forget who it was that he obliterated Austin Matthews.
Oh yeah,
Flat,
in the boards in the middle.
like,
That's when Austin's like, "Oh yeah, I'm 6'3", 205. I could probably do this."
I think he's more than 205. I
I
think he's
think he's
like two.
220. I think he's 220.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he's a big boy.
he's like, yeah, sorry, champ, bang, and I was like, wow, I want to see more of that because
Yeah,
like that I've been trying to say this for so long. I really think if like when Matthews is at the peak, obviously his main component will always be goals, but like he's a big guy. He's not a Nylander sized player. Like he's like a I'm trying to think of like a power forward that's like he's an Austin Matthews. He's like a
he's
one
like
of
a
a
little
kind.
version of Tage Thompson because Tage is
Dude,
6'7".
he's 6'7".
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Wow. But
I'm
my
pretty sure. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure he is.
he's 6'7"? Oh my god. I did not know that. Like I knew he was big. I didn't know he was that big.
Maybe I'm just spewing out of my buttocks here. He's 1.98 meters. So now I
Yeah.
gotta convert that.
No, that's like 185 or something is like 6 feet flat, something like that, or 187. Makes
It
sense.
is. Oh my god, Google, help me, please. 6'5", 6'6". So yeah, like 6'7" on skates. There you go.
He's just pretty massive. But like Matthews, and I what I liked about that hit, what showed me that I'm like those moments to me show me like, okay, you care, you're into the game,
He's
that's
engaged.
what I
He
like
could have just
about it,
skated away from that, right?
right? And he's like, nope, you're coming through, and like, no, you're not, because I'm here, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
that's that, and again, I thought it definitely wasn't the Leafs' best game, like by any means, like it wasn't really close either, but I don't know why, like for some reason, watching the game, I was like, it feels like a turning point, and like I felt pretty good about the game, despite
You
thinking we lost for like 3 hours and like till after the game ended, and I'm like, oh, we won, but
you
like
just
it
really
wasn't to me
hope.
like, go ahead, yeah,
No, no, continue your point because I'm gonna transition.
like I don't the way I look at it, that's why like I was happy because we got the extra point, but like to me, like I don't care. To me, that was a tie. They just didn't have enough time to figure it out, but like no one lost that game. It was a tie, and like they played like an ODR shootout, and one
Yeah.
team won and one team didn't. Like it doesn't because like to me, like shootouts, I've gotten into it before. I'm not a fan of it just because if there's a reason it's not there in the playoffs, and it's because it's not hockey. So to me, like winning or losing in the shootout doesn't change anything, and it doesn't matter. So I looked at that as a tie, and I thought both teams just played a really good hockey game, and I was happy with the Leafs' performance. Like we kept it relatively tight. We didn't give up after the first period. We didn't give up like a whole lot, but the things we did give up, Joseph Woll was there, and we managed. I don't know. I just for some reason
For
I
both teams, it really felt like just a bunch of perimeter play. Like a lot of, you can't get to the middle because we're defending it. Sometimes there'd be a casual error, and then when it was, Stolars and Wall just made the save, and then you kept going perimeter play and grinding down at each other. But you really hope that they can build off of this because they got Seattle Thursday, then they've got Boston on Saturday, then they've got Ottawa. And those are two divisional games. And I'll tell you what, if they can get six
three.
points,
Yeah.
6 points, they could there's a good chance the next time we record they're first. Like that could happen. That's how close the Atlantic is right now.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's actually completely nuts. But
That's why I'm always so anal about getting these points against your division rivals because
yeah,
genuinely you need them, especially if you can get them in regulation. I prefer that more because then you're not giving up any points to any other teams.
a
And you also
win-win.
have 5 regulation wins. But yeah,
Yeah, but like the I don't know. It's yesterday's game was probably the first time all season where I was like, I want to see more games like this. Like obviously, like I'm not saying the full entirety of the game, but I meant like the concept of the game where it's like we managed to scrape 2 points in a really like playoff feeling game. You know what I mean? And like
I
against a
would.
good team. Like the Panthers are
Yeah,
a good team. And we managed to did we deserve to win that from start to finish? Probably not. But like I thought we weren't like completely
We didn't get
deserved
blown out of the
to lose.
water.
Sorry?
We didn't get blown out of the water. Like, it was
No, like,
relatively close.
I think whoever won that game, like, both teams deserved 2 points in that one. Like, I thought it was just, like, a well-fought game
Yeah.
from like, Panthers had a better first, Leafs had a better third, the second was even, so it was, like, a relatively 50-50 split overall, and I just love, like, I'd much rather watch that than watch, like, a 4-1 win because to me, obviously, I'll take a 4-1 win, but, like, what I'm saying is that these are games that, like, you're gonna see in the playoff, and these are games you need to win. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like the game that you're up 5-1, like, yeah, you should 100% win those every single night, not lose the 5-1 lead. Games that are 1-1 are games that are really gonna decide a series, so, like, I wanna see more games like this, and I wanna see how the team reacts in a game like this, and I think there's things we can fix, but, like, overall, I enjoyed at the very least, like, what I saw. I thought it was one of, like, their best, like, gritty performances. It
Yeah.
wasn't their best performance, but, like, I just liked that things weren't exactly going their way, but, like, they still dug in
They
and got
found a
it
way to
done.
win.
Yeah, and that's what I really like. Like, this is the thing that a lot of people who aren't Leaf fans, like, target Leaf fans are like, "Oh, you guys think your team's gonna go 82-0 and win the Stanley Cup every year." Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I wanna watch a well-fought hockey game. I know we're gonna lose games. I know I thought we lost like, my opinion didn't change. I am talking as though I thought the Leafs lost yesterday, and I
Mhm.
would have still had the same opinion. I like games, like, where I just see, like, that fight, that heart, that, like, they want to win. That's all I want. I know we're not gonna win every game. It's impossible. Even the Bruins who, like, set the NHL record lost, like, 10, 15 games last year. You're gonna
Yeah.
lose some, and but these are the types of games I wanna see, like, from this team is that show me you give a shit because, like, I am finishing work, I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm, like, taking my time to watch this, like, just show me you care. Don't show up flat-footed. That's the part that pisses me off. Whether you win or lose, like, there was games I think who was it against? Was it against the Wild or the Wings in Sweden? Like, let's not
They
act
played
like the
they played
Leafs
both teams.
like, let's not act that we didn't get caved in for 40 minutes. Like, sure, we won, but I didn't feel good about it. Like, it was nice, good moment, but I didn't feel good about the win because, like, we got caved in for 40 minutes. Whereas yesterday, we won a 2-1 game. Our divisional rival got a point out of it, and I feel way better about how yesterday went than I do about, like, many other games this season.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like,
I'd love to see more games like that and add on to the fact that maybe you can score 2 power play goals out of 8 penalties. I
yeah,
don't know,
the power play was rough.
maybe your stars could show up for a bit of offense.
But you know what? Like, this is where, like, I'm not gonna disagree with you, but, like, I'll give, like, a different perspective. The only thing we were praying for about 5 to 10 games ago was that the only people scoring was our top 4, and now I think it was 9 straight goals from different players,
Yep,
like, 9
yep.
different goal scorers, so it's like I like that we're seeing both ends. Like, obviously, we're looking for the moment where both collide, like where Matthews is, like, scoring all kinds, and Nylander's scoring all kinds, and Marner's setting up crazy plays, and John Tavares is scoring power play goals. But, like, also Noah Gregor's getting on the board, Tyler Bertuzzi's getting on the
Oh,
board,
yeah.
Ty Domi, Max Domi's on the board. Like, I want to see, like, the team because, like, even in the Stanley Cup Finals and the conference finals and, like, whatever it is, it's never just the star player scoring the goals. It's, like, those goals from, like, the Chandler Stevensons and the
Yep,
Jason Dickinsons and the Kevin
yep.
Stenlins. Those are huge goals.
I
So,
mean,
like,
most of the time, your Stanley Cup winning goal doesn't come from a member of the top 6.
you know what? But because it's, like, at that point, it's
Everyone's
like,
gotta score.
right? Whoever puts the puck in the net, like, you're the GOAT. It doesn't matter who. Just do it. Does
End of the day, that's how you win hockey games. You put the puck in the net. Speaking of that, and Max Domi, let's play a little game here, Giuseppe. We're 20 games in. He's got 0 goals. 2 things. One, how many goals do you think he finishes with on the season? Because I'll give him like 5.
I was gonna say, like, 7.
Okay.
I think he'll
What
go on a little bit of a streak.
what game number do you think he scores his first goal? Because we're at 20.
26.
I'll give him 33.
Wow, that's harsh.
And it's not as if he's playing bad. It's just I don't
No.
think he elects to shoot very often. I think he's just a straight playmaker.
Well, dude, I think he's been pretty good with the line of it's him, Robertson, and Yarncroke.
I love Cal Yarncroke, man. I can
But
see
you
why
see, like, they're
Sheldon loves him
finishers.
too.
They're like Robertson and Yarncroke. Like, honestly, I don't even care that Domi is not scoring goals because to me, like, he has a role now. That's what
Yeah,
I care about. Like, he's not
but
useless. That's what I
like
care
we
about.
just finished saying, gotta put the puck in the net.
Yeah, and it's like whoever does it, but like if you're a part, like if you finish the season with like 40 assists and 0 goals, obviously there's gonna be like you want him to maybe get on the board a bit, but it's like, are you gonna overlook the 40 assists? Because if he wasn't on
Yeah,
the ice,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
40 goals that don't happen. So
Like
it's
you're not
like,
gonna be like, oh yeah, he had a bad season if he doesn't score a
no,
goal.
it's just gonna be like an odd one. But like he's
Yeah.
never been a goal scorer. He's always been a playmaker. So like to me, like I'm not worried about that. Like the goals, he's gonna get like the random tap in goal or the random deflection or he'll shoot
Eventually,
sometime.
yeah.
But like I'm not worried about that. To me, like I do when he has like I like him a lot on the second power play unit. I feel he's kind of like starting to become a bit of the quarterback of that, which I
I'm
like
not gonna lie, I prefer watching our second power play unit more than our first.
because there's no pressure on it.
It
That's
doesn't seem like there is, eh? It seems like they get to the zone faster, they get shots on net faster, and they're just better at generating rebounds. It seems as though the first unit seems like there's pressure to like generate this play that they've drawn up. They try so hard to force it, and it ends up just in a block pass, and then they clear the zone.
I think you just gotta let star players play star hockey. I don't think there's like, and again, is it ideal to like the normal hockey coach? No, like they're different in that sense. Like there's just too much on that line, on that power play line. But like when this power play unit clicks, like they're scoring a power play goal in the first 12 seconds, like every time.
When the
Every
first power play unit is going, you
oh,
can
it's fun.
notice it because they're moving, man. Like you cannot follow them because their puck
Yeah,
movement is
they're
on fleek. Like they confuse the penalty killers so much just because 1 second they're here, the next second I'm on the other boards. You can't follow
mark
me.
my words. Mark my words. The moment Marner, and I think this game created that spark. The moment Marner is going to take off and it's coming, I'm calling it now on this November 29th. I'm telling you right now, Marner is about to go off. And to all Leaf fans and everything saying trade Marner, what are you talking about? You're not going to get fair return for it. That is completely stupid. Don't trade Marner. That's very, very dumb.
Leafs fans
Marner's gonna
forget that he literally plays every situation for us.
like wait for Marner's gonna go off, and it's coming. I'm telling you all. Don't say I didn't warn you because it's coming.
Mhm.
And when he does, that power play unit is gonna go like compete for the best, and that's when the Leafs really pick up. Because I've said it for many years, and this is why I never want to trade Marner. He is like the heart of the team when
Yeah.
he's and notice yesterday he was fighting through it.
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed when he started fighting through it from the second into the third, you notice like the overall team fighting through it.
Yeah, of course. I
That's
noticed immediately Marner threw a hit on Mikola. You know who followed it up? Austin
that
Matthews.
that's what I'm saying. Like Mitch Marner is the heart of this team, I think. I can back that up with many different situations. I'm not going to get too into it, but my stance on that is I get it. You're frustrated. Marner is not having a bad season. He's just not at his best. He's over a point per game, if I'm not mistaken, or very close to it.
He's exactly point per game.
And he's playing like shit. Can you imagine? Like
That's
imagine
that's how
being a
high his
point per
standards
game,
are.
but
Yeah.
but he's the one who created that standard for him, which means if right now he's playing bad and he's a point per game, wait till he pops off because it's coming again. I feel it. It's been like that's been the one guy on this team who hasn't popped off yet, and it's coming and it's going to be the most beautiful thing to watch. Don't believe me? No problem. Wait for it. I told you so. It's happening. We've seen it before, and it's going to happen again. Mitch Marner has the capacity of being the best player on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's shown it before, and he's going to do it again at some point this season and shut everyone up. And I can't wait for it because I love Marner, and there's a reason I do. And I think that's going to happen. And we're going to have to wait and see. But
He
that's,
plays Boston on Saturday. He loves playing Boston.
dude, if there's one player that I love watching when he's on fire, it's Mitch Marner.
Nobody in the league is more electric. Like, there's Connor McDavid. He's electric, of course. But when Mitch Marner is going and he's got his magic feet going, do you remember the goal against Vegas, man? Like, look at this. Look at this. Everyone knows where this is from. That goal against Vegas was genuinely fantastic. And it brought me out of my seat and I started yelling because when this player is going, he's so fun to watch. He's a happy-go-lucky puppy. And he's got so much skill that is not just about playmaking. He can make plays and score goals.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. But we're going to have to wait and see. Now we have a game tomorrow against the Kraken. Then we have Boston and the Senators, which are, in my opinion, way more important. I say if there's a game to screw up, it's against the Kraken. Don't screw it up. Please find a way. Continue the momentum. We need the points. It's tight.
Can you just get a regulation win, please? Just for my sanity.
I think the Leafs. Can I
tune into a game? Can I tune into a game? Can I watch a first period and be happy? Can you hold the lead instead of blowing it and then win the game? Like just 2-0 lead, and then you lose 2-1. I'll genuinely be happy.
I don't know why I have this like feeling like I'm not worried about no disrespect to the Kraken. I think it's more that I don't know. I just felt really good about yesterday's game. I don't know what it is, and like it might just be a feeling, but I think that that this thing is gonna start now. I think like
my pessimism is coming from that I've seen this game in this season before where I thought they would build off of it and then they didn't. So I'm a little bit more hesitant here, but I can see what you're seeing. I do genuinely hope that they build off of it.
The reason I'm saying I think they're going to build off of it is because a heavy portion of it has come from their bottom six, and now what has to pick up is the top four. And I'm just not worried about them. Like I've seen it too many times to be worried about them. And like you have to understand, like people are streaky. If they pick it up at the same time, oh, dude, it's going to be fun to watch. But we're going to have to see. At the end of the day, we're 11-6-3. Based off how we've been playing, I'd say we're a lot more of like an 8-10-2.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day where it was like the Leafs are 11-6-3, but to me it feels like they're 6-11-3. What is this team doing to me?
Yeah, no, but like 100%. But I look at that in the sense where I'm like, okay, we're really in a good, like we're in a spot where we haven't played nearly the best hockey, or like we've played like very league average hockey at best, and we're
gonna get to a point where all you can go is up. And again, I think the pessimism for me was because for like the last 6 seasons, I'm used to, bad October, best November, mediocre the rest of the way. So when I don't see the best November, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? Are they saving it for December? Maybe it's coming in January, or maybe they're just going to be not best, but really good, really good, really good. Maybe just a more consistent, really good instead of just leading the league in wins in 1 month.
I do think that I like seeing that we're just getting progress. It's looking kind of like a very realistic, like Microsoft stock, like where it's like it's trending up.
It's a bunch of up and downs,
but it goes down. But like overall, like after a week, it recovers that down and it's still steady going up. That's the way I look at it, where it's like compared to how we started the season to now, like, yeah, we have gotten better. There's obviously like things like effort, no matter what, you can't change that. You can't. That's just on the players. So that's like something I'm not going to, it's not that I'm not worried about it. It's that there's nothing you can do about it. It's either you give it or you don't. And yesterday I thought they did. And I'm going to tip my hat off to it because I will shit on them when they don't, but I will give them so in that exact regard, I do have to tip my hat when they do. And I thought they gave a pretty solid effort yesterday. And we're going to have to see how it goes up against the Kraken now coming up tomorrow. But again, we're not in a bad spot by any means. And we have we're in a situation where if that whole struggle turned out to be 11-6-3, we might not be in that bad of a spot as we thought we were. That's how I'm gonna
62
look at
games
it.
left. Tons of games.
Oh yeah. And who knows? I might be seeing you again Friday. I might not. We'll see. I mean, I would love to, but we'll talk about that later on. Ladies
Yep.
and gentlemen, that is how we are going to wrap up today's episode, Mess. Thank you very much for helping us out on today's episode. Leafs Fan MD on TikTok. The guy's a GOAT. He puts up straight, honest reviews on games. He even does pack openings. I've watched them. Don't think I didn't watch them.
Yeah.
was
More
blessed.
coming.
But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. And to everyone who listened to the episode, thank you very much. If you got this far, make sure to hit the subscribe button, drop a like, drop a comment. How are you feeling as a Leafs fan right now? What are you thinking? What's going on in your head? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with That Leafs Fan on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.